Texas Tech Red Raiders versus Arizona Wildcats. 18th ranked Texas Tech walks into Tucson at 18-6 overall and 8-3 in conference play. Waiting for them is number 1 Arizona, 23-1-10 and 1 in the league, sitting alone at the top of the standings. It's a heavyweight collision with real conference implications. A chance for Arizona to tighten its grip on first place, and an opportunity for Texas Tech to slice into the gap and prove it belongs in the championship conversation. The projection leans heavily toward the Wildcats, with Arizona given an overwhelming edge on its home floor. But Texas Tech just watched J.T. Toppin drop 20 in his last outing, and this group has shown it can swing momentum quickly. The stakes are clear: supremacy in the Big 12 race and national positioning in mid-February. Arizona averages 88.8 points per game, holding opponents to 68.2. Texas Tech scores 82.2 and allows 72.3. The Wildcats shoot 51% from the field, 35.7% from three, and 75% at the line. The Red Raiders connect at 46.7% overall, 39.1% from deep, and 71% at the stripe. Rebounding tilts decisively Arizona's way, 44.0 boards per night compared to Tech's 37.7. Assists favor the Wildcats 18.0 to 16.3, and they generate more defensive havoc, 8.5 steals and 4.7 blocks per game versus 6.5 steals and 3.5 blocks for Texas Tech. Turnovers are nearly even, with Arizona at 11.5 and Tech at 10.6. J.T. Toppin anchors the Red Raiders with 21.5 points and 10.9 rebounds per game, shooting 55% from the field. Christian Anderson adds 19.1 points and 7.7 assists, hitting 43.8% from three. Darian Awell contributes 12.6 points, while the team leans heavily on perimeter spacing and ball movement. Arizona counters with balanced firepower. Braden Burries scores 15.7 per game on 50.8% shooting and 38.1% from three. Koa Pete adds 14.3, Jaden Bradley chips in 13.5 with 4.5 assists and 1.9 steals, and Matajas Krivas protects the rim with 2.0 blocks while anchoring an interior that controls the glass. Toby Awaka nearly averages a double-double at 9.7 points and 9.6 rebounds on 59.6% shooting. This is strength versus strength in different forms. Texas Tech's shot-making and perimeter efficiency against Arizona's size, depth, and defensive length. Recent form sharpens the picture. Texas Tech has won 3 of its last 5, including road victories at West Virginia and UCF and a high-scoring win over Houston. But there are cracks: a 20-point loss to UCF and a narrow home defeat to Kansas. Arizona has won 4 of 5, bouncing back from a tight loss to Kansas with dominant wins over Oklahoma State, Arizona State, BYU, and West Virginia, scoring at least 84 in each victory. The emotional edge belongs to Arizona, efficient, composed, and consistently explosive at home. Texas Tech has proven resilient, but its defense has fluctuated, particularly in transition and on the glass. The centerpiece matchup is J.T. Toppin against Arizona's interior duo of Awaka and Krivas. Toppin's 21.5 points and 10.9 rebounds per game on 55% shooting make him the most dominant individual presence on the floor. He's efficient, physical, and relentless on second chances. But Arizona's front court depth and length present a layered challenge. On the perimeter, Christian Anderson's 7.7 assists and 43.8% three-point shooting test Jaden Bradley, who brings defensive pressure and 1.9 steals per game. Anderson plays with rhythm and vision. Bradley counters with disruption and pace control. That guard duel could dictate tempo, whether Tech turns this into a spacing and shooting contest or Arizona forces turnovers and accelerates in transition. Tactically, Arizona's advantage begins on the glass. A plus 6.3 rebounding margin combined with superior shot efficiency suggests second chance points and interior control. The Wildcats' 51% shooting reflects strong paint touches and disciplined spacing. If they collapse on Toppin and force Tech's secondary scorers into contested attempts, their defensive structure holds. Texas Tech's path is precision. It must stretch the floor, capitalize on its 39.1% three-point shooting, and protect the ball. Limiting Arizona to one shot per possession is non-negotiable. In the half court, Anderson must orchestrate, keeping Toppin involved without allowing Arizona to load up defensively. Bench depth favors Arizona, and late-game composure has been steady during its 23-1 surge. If the Wildcats control tempo and win the rebounding battle, the math becomes overwhelming. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Arizona winner. The Wildcats' efficiency, rebounding dominance, and defensive length create separation in the second half. Texas Tech competes behind Toppin's production and perimeter shooting, but Arizona's balance and interior control ultimately define the night and reinforce why it sits atop the conference and the national landscape. My second pick for this match is total over 154.5. Clemson Tigers versus Duke Blue Devils, Saturday afternoon in Durham, carries weight. Clemson enters at 20-5 overall, 10-2 in conference play, chasing position near the top of the ACC table. Duke stands 22-2, 11-1 in league action, protecting home floor and first place. The matchup predictor tilts heavily toward the Blue Devils at nearly 90%, a reflection of dominance, depth, and efficiency. But Clemson arrives with the profile of a team capable of turning a race upside down. This isn't just another conference game. It's control of the ACC spotlight. Clemson averages 75.6 points per game, shooting 46.6% from the field and 34.6% from three, while converting 72.3% at the line. They pull down 35.5 rebounds, distribute 13.0 assists, force 6.4 steals, and protect the rim with 2.5 blocks per night, committing just under 10 turnovers per game. Duke operates at a different offensive gear. 82.9 points per contest on 49.9% shooting, 34.1% from beyond the arc, and 71.6% from the stripe. The Blue Devils dominate the glass at 39.7 rebounds, move the ball for 16.9 assists, generate 8.3 steals, and swat 3.5 shots, though they give it away slightly more at 11.1 turnovers per game. The centerpiece for Clemson is R.J. Godfrey, producing 11.6 points on a blistering 64.9% shooting. Carter Welling adds 5.7 rebounds, while Dylan Hunter orchestrates with 3.0 assists. Godfrey's efficiency sets the tone. Interior finishing, smart cuts, high-percentage offense. Clemson's attack is structured and deliberate, leaning on physicality and execution. Duke counters with one of the most complete stat lines in the conference. Cameron Boozer pours in 23.0 points per game, grabs 10.0 rebounds, and dishes 4.0 assists while shooting 57.8% from the floor and 38.3% from three. Isaiah Evans supplies 14.3 points, and Patrick Ngongba II anchors the interior with 1.3 blocks per contest. Duke's offensive rhythm is fluid, spacing, ball movement, downhill pressure, and their defense converts length into transition opportunities. The defining theme is clear. Clemson's disciplined, efficient half-court structure against Duke's explosive balance and superior depth. It's control versus firepower. Recent form sharpens the contrast. Clemson has won 4 of its last 5, including decisive victories over Stanford, 66-64, Pittsburgh, 63-52, Georgia Tech, 77-63, and California, 77-55, with the lone stumble a narrow loss at Virginia Tech. Their defense has tightened, holding 3 of those opponents under 66 points, and their margins suggest growing comfort in close finishes. Duke has also captured 4 of 5, highlighted by a 70-54 road win at Pittsburgh and a dominant 83-52 dismantling of Louisville. The lone blemish came in a tight loss at North Carolina. In their wins, the Blue Devils are clearing 70 consistently and defending with energy, allowing 58 or fewer in 3 of the 4 victories. The rhythm is steady, and at home it's amplified. At the center of it all stands the star duel: Godfrey's precision against Boozer's force. Godfrey's 64.9% shooting reflects calculated efficiency, touches around the rim, smart positioning, and patience. Boozer's 23-10 nightly represent controlled aggression. He stretches the floor at 38.3% from deep, finishes through contact, and rebounds outside his area. Boozer's free throw mark of 76.8% ensures late-game reliability, while Godfrey's 64.0% at the line could become a pressure point. If Clemson wants to shorten the game, Godfrey must convert clean looks and avoid foul trouble. If Duke accelerates tempo, Boozer's versatility becomes overwhelming. Clemson must limit transition and protect the ball. Duke's 8.3 steals per game can swing momentum, and its +4 rebounding edge creates extra chances. Clemson's lower turnover rate can control pace, but if Duke's near 17 assists start breaking down the defense, the Tigers will be chasing. Bench depth favors Duke, and their rim protection edge could discourage Clemson's interior efficiency. The X factor lies in perimeter rhythm. Clemson at 34.6% from 3 versus Duke at 34.1%, nearly identical. Whichever team finds early spacing confidence may dictate defensive adjustments and open the floor. In the end, Duke's balance, rebounding edge, and star power at home create separation. Clemson's discipline keeps it competitive deep into the second half, but Boozer's versatility and Duke's transition scoring prove decisive. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Duke winner. The Blue Devils' efficiency and control of the glass tilt the game in the closing minutes, reinforcing their grip atop the conference and sending a clear message about who owns the ACC stage. My second pick for this match is total over 131.5. Kentucky Wildcats versus Florida Gators, 25. Kentucky walks into Gainesville at 17-7, 8-3 in conference play. 14th-ranked Florida stands 18-6, 9-2 in the league, and alone at the top of the standings. This isn't just another February matchup, it's a race setter. Florida can tighten its grip on first place. Kentucky can close the gap and flip the pressure. The edge leans heavily toward the home side, with Florida holding nearly an 80% win probability. But Kentucky arrives with firepower and confidence. The stakes are clear: separation or compression in the SEC title chase. Florida's profile is built on balance and physicality. They average 86.3 points per game while allowing just 71.0. Kentucky scores 81.6 and gives up 71.3. Both shoot 47% from the field, but Florida owns the glass at 46.0 rebounds per night compared to Kentucky's 37.9, a decisive differential. Assists are nearly even, 16.4 to 16.3, and both teams defend actively, with Florida at 6.7 steals and 5.2 blocks per game, Kentucky at 7.3 steals and 4.8 blocks. Individually, Kentucky leans on Otega-Owe's 17.1 points per game on 48.3% shooting. He adds 4.4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.8 steals. Production across the board. Denzel Aberdeen contributes 12.3 points and 3.2 assists, while Malachi Moreno anchors inside with 6.3 rebounds and 1.7 blocks. Kentucky shoots 34.5% from 3 and 72.4% at the line. Florida counters with Thomas Hoff's 17.5 points per game, 46.9% from the field, 34.4% from deep, and 75.2% at the stripe. Ruben Chinyelu is the interior force, 11.8 rebounds and 11.8 points on a commanding 60.9% shooting. Boogie Fland orchestrates the attack with 11.4 points and 3.8 assists, plus 2.0 steals. As a team, Florida shoots 29.2% from three, but finishes efficiently inside and hits 70.5% of its free throws. The defining theme, Florida's rebounding muscle versus Kentucky's perimeter activity. If Florida controls the glass, it controls tempo. If Kentucky disrupts passing lanes and forces turnovers, it can tilt the rhythm. Recent form sharpens the picture. Kentucky has won 4 of its last 5, including a 94-78 win over Oklahoma and an 85-77 victory at Arkansas. The lone blemish was a 74-71 loss to Tennessee, a tight, physical contest. Florida is also 4-1 in its last 5, highlighted by a 100-77 win over Alabama and a 95-48 dismantling of South Carolina. Their only stumble came in a 76-67 loss to Auburn. Florida's margins have been emphatic when they win. Kentucky's have been steady and controlled. The centerpiece duel belongs to Oweh and Hoff. Oweh plays downhill, aggressive, athletic, efficient inside the arc. He's a slasher who pressures defenses and creates deflections on the other end. Hoff is smoother, operating within structure, spacing the floor and scoring at all 3 levels. Add Chinyelu's dominance on the boards against Moreno's rim protection, and you have a layered battle inside and out. Fland's playmaking against Aberdeen's perimeter defense adds another subtle chess match. Tactically, Florida will pound the paint and crash the glass. Their +8 rebounding margin per game is not cosmetic, it's structural. Extra possessions, second chance points, and interior efficiency define them. Kentucky must speed the game up selectively, pressure ball handlers, and convert turnovers into transition points. In half-court sets, spacing becomes critical. Florida's lower three-point percentage suggests Kentucky can sag and crowd the interior if rotations are sharp. Bench depth and discipline will matter late. Florida's block presence and rebounding give them late-game insulation. Kentucky's edge lies in perimeter disruption and free-flow scoring spurts. The X factor, second chance points. If Florida turns misses into momentum, the building will tilt heavily in their favor. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Florida winner. The difference is rebounding control and interior efficiency. Kentucky keeps it competitive with defensive pressure and balanced scoring, but Florida's physicality and possession advantage ultimately separate them. In a game with conference implications, the Gators defend their floor and strengthen their hold on first place. My second pick for this match is total over 150.5. Virginia Cavaliers versus Ohio State Buckeyes. 15th-ranked Virginia walks in at 21-3, 10-2 in the ACC, sitting just 1 game off Duke in the conference race. Ohio State stands 16-8, 8-6 in the Big Ten, 5th in a crowded league chasing Michigan's 13-1 mark. The matchup predictor leans Virginia at 59.7%, a nod to consistency, defense, and late-game execution. But Ohio State's firepower makes this anything but comfortable. On a neutral floor in Nashville, this is more than a February showcase. For Virginia, it's about protecting national credibility and sharpening postseason identity. For Ohio State, it's a resume opportunity, a chance to measure their explosive offense against one of the most disciplined defensive groups in the country. Virginia averages 81.9 points per game while allowing just 67.5. Ohio State scores 81.6 but surrenders 73.7. The Cavaliers are more efficient defensively. The Buckeyes are more aggressive offensively. That contrast sets the stage. Virginia shoots 46.3% from the field, 35.5% from three, and 70.2% at the line. They move the ball for 17.0 assists per game, dominate the glass at 41.7 rebounds, force 6.6 steals, and protect the rim with 5.8 blocks. Turnovers sit at 10.8 per game. Controlled, measured basketball. Ohio State counters with 48.9% shooting overall, 34.1% from deep, and an impressive 78.8% from the stripe. They average 15.0 assists, 35.0 rebounds, 5.0 steals, and 2.5 blocks, committing 10.7 turnovers per contest. Their edge is shooting efficiency. Virginia's is rebounding and interior defense. The Cavaliers are powered by T.J. DeRidder at 16.1 points and 6.6 rebounds per game, shooting 52.1% from the floor. Darlene Hall orchestrates with 4.2 assists, while Chance Mallory contributes 1.9 steals. In the paint, Ugonna Onyenso anchors the defense with 2.5 blocks. Ohio State revolves around Bruce Thornton, who pours in 19.3 points with 3.8 assists and 5.3 rebounds, shooting 54.7% overall and 38.5% from three, while hitting 83.6% at the line. Devin Royal adds 14.0 points and 5.7 rebounds, and Amar Abynum provides 9.2 points with 4.5 boards and 0.8 blocks. The Buckeyes' offensive rhythm is guard-driven, attacking downhill and spacing the floor for efficient looks. The defining theme, Virginia's rebounding and rim protection versus Ohio State's perimeter efficiency and shot-making. Virginia enters on a 5-game winning streak. Victories over Florida State, 61-58, Syracuse, 72-59, Pitt, 67-47, Boston College, 73-66, and Notre Dame, 100-97 in double overtime. The defense has tightened, holding 3 of those opponents under 60. They've shown poise late and an ability to grind when pace slows. Ohio State is 3-2 in its last 5. Wins over USC, 89-82, Maryland, 82-62, and Penn State, 84-78, but losses to Michigan, 82-61, and Wisconsin, 92-82. When their shooting flows, they can overwhelm. When it stalls, defensive lapses become costly. The spotlight narrows to DeRidder versus Thornton. Precision against pace. DeRidder scores within structure, efficient and selective, finishing at 52.1% and controlling the glass. Thornton operates with force and confidence, nearly 20 points per night, stretching defenses from deep and living at the foul line at 83.6%. One thrives in half-court discipline. The other ignites momentum in transition and early offense. If Thornton dictates tempo, Ohio State stretches Virginia's shell. If DeRidder and Onyenso control the interior, Virginia compresses space and forces contested jumpers. Tactically, Virginia will look to own the boards. Their plus 6.7 rebounding edge looms large. Second chance points and rim deterrence tilt their defensive numbers. Ohio State must leverage shooting efficiency and free throw accuracy, spreading the floor and attacking before Virginia sets its defense. Turnover margins are nearly even, so spacing and shot selection become critical. Virginia's 5.8 blocks per game could neutralize drives. Ohio State's 78.8% free throw mark could punish fouls. Bench impact and perimeter shot making are the swing factors. If the Buckeyes hit timely threes, they stretch Virginia's coverage. If the Cavaliers dictate tempo and limit possessions, they suffocate rhythm. In the end, the numbers suggest control wins out. Virginia's defensive consistency, rebounding dominance, and 5-game surge point toward a composed performance. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Virginia winner. The edge belongs to discipline, and Virginia's balance on both ends should be just enough to close it out. My second pick for this match is total over 146.5. Gonzaga Bulldogs versus Santa Clara Broncos. The race at the top of the WCC tightens under the lights in Santa Clara. Gonzaga enters at 24-2 overall, 12-1 in conference play. Santa Clara stands 22-5, 13-1 in the league, holding the slimmest edge in the standings. This is more than another February matchup. It's control of the conference, positioning, and proof of hierarchy. The projection leans toward Gonzaga at 78%, but the Broncos own the home floor and the top conference record. One team brings the efficiency of a seasoned contender. The other brings balance, momentum, and belief. First place is on the line. Gonzaga averages 87.4 points per game, shooting 51.3% from the field, 34.9% from three, and 69.8% at the line. They distribute 18.4 assists per night, pull down 41.2 rebounds, and limit opponents to 66.5 points. Defensively, they generate 9.0 steals and 3.6 blocks while keeping turnovers at 10.0 per game. Their identity is clean execution and physical rebounding control. Santa Clara scores 83.6 per game on 47.4% shooting, 33.9% from deep, and a strong 72.8% at the stripe. They average 17.3 assists, 36.1 rebounds, 9.4 steals, and 4.0 blocks, allowing 71.1 points. The Broncos force 11.3 turnovers and thrive on perimeter disruption and secondary scoring. Graham Ike leads Gonzaga with 19.7 points and 8.5 rebounds on a dominant 57.4% from the field and 78.7% at the line. Braden Huff adds 17.8 points on a blistering 66.2% shooting. Braden Smith orchestrates with 4.2 assists per game. Gonzaga's offense is interior efficiency first, spacing second. Santa Clara counters with Christian Hammond's 16.4 points on 50.0% shooting and 40.2% from three. Elijah Mahi contributes 13.8 points, while Alan Graves provides 11.3 points, 7.0 rebounds, and 2.1 steals, the defensive tone setter. Jake Ensminger chips in 6.5 points and 3.0 assists. The Broncos play with balance and ball pressure. The defining theme is Gonzaga's interior power versus Santa Clara's perimeter activity, paint dominance against defensive disruption. Gonzaga is 4-1 in its last 5, winning by double digits over Washington State, Oregon State, St. Mary's, and San Francisco, with a narrow road loss at Portland. They've shot efficiently and controlled tempo, grinding opponents down with size and half-court precision. Santa Clara is surging at 5-0 in its last 5, including statement wins over Washington State and LMU, scoring 96 and 104 in consecutive outings. Their offense is humming, their spacing sharp, and their confidence rising. They're not just winning, they're accelerating. At the center of it all is Ike versus Hammond. Ike is methodical, powerful, and relentless on the block. He converts at elite efficiency and dictates defensive attention. Hammond is fluid and versatile, capable from deep and comfortable off the bounce. Ike pressures the rim. Hammond stretches it. One punishes mismatches inside. The other forces rotations on the perimeter. Whichever star imposes his rhythm could tilt the night. Tactically, Gonzaga will attack the paint early, leveraging Ike and Huff to test Santa Clara's interior depth. If the Broncos collapse, Gonzaga's ball movement, 18.4 assists per game, will create open perimeter looks. On the other end, Santa Clara must speed the game up, forcing turnovers and turning steals into transition opportunities. Their 9.4 steals per game signal active hands and aggressive closeouts. Rebounding looms large. Gonzaga's plus 5.1 advantage on the glass could limit second chances for Santa Clara. But the Broncos' 4.0 blocks and perimeter quickness give them defensive playmaking potential. Bench depth favors Gonzaga slightly, but Santa Clara's home energy and recent offensive explosion are real X factors. Late game, execution matters. Gonzaga protects the ball better. Santa Clara shoots better at the free throw line. If this becomes a possession game in the final 2 minutes, discipline and rebounding likely decide it. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Gonzaga winner. Gonzaga's efficiency in the paint and control on the glass create just enough separation. Santa Clara will have scoring bursts and perimeter runs, but over 40 minutes, interior dominance and defensive steadiness give the Bulldogs the edge. In a battle for first place, Gonzaga's structure prevails. My second pick for this match is total over 157.5,